The hidden power in Psalm 23. No one told you. This secret will change your life forever. There's a reason your heart keeps coming back to Psalm 23. You've read it, whispered it in the dark, maybe even clung to it when nothing else made sense. But somewhere along the way, its beauty became so familiar that its power felt hidden like a treasure buried beneath the surface of words you thought you already knew. Today, I want to take you back there not to recite it, but to see it, to hear it the way David meant it, to uncover the secret that can change not just your faith, but the way you live, breathe, and walk through every valley and mountain in your life. Because Psalm 23 isn't a poem for funerals. It's a roadmap for the living. It's not just comfort for the broken. It's power for the believer who dares to trust the shepherd completely. These words were written by a man who knew the wilderness, who had felt the sting of rejection, who had walked through fear, danger, and loneliness. And in the middle of all that, David didn't talk about his enemies, or his wounds, or even his victories. He talked about his shepherd. He talked about a relationship so personal, so deep, that no storm could steal his peace. You see, the secret of Psalm 23 isn't just in its promises. It's in the person behind them. It's about knowing the shepherd, not just reading about him. It's about walking with him in such closeness that lack loses its voice, fear loses its grip, and your soul finds rest even when the world around you trembles. This psalm holds the mystery of true peace, the kind that doesn't depend on circumstances. It carries the hidden rhythm of divine rest, provision, courage, and victory. And if you lean in, if you listen beyond the words, you'll hear a voice calling you into something deeper. Today, we're going to unlock it together, because the shepherd of Psalm 23 isn't distant. He's here. And once you understand the truth tucked into every line of this sacred song, your heart will never read it the same way again. Number 1. The Lord is my shepherd. The secret of ownership and intimacy. Before you can understand the peace and power of Psalm 23, you must first understand this opening line. The Lord is my shepherd. Those 6 words are the foundation of everything that follows. They are not just poetic. They are deeply personal, radically intimate, and profoundly life-changing. David didn't say, "The Lord is a shepherd." He said, "The Lord is my shepherd." That one word, my, is the heartbeat of the entire psalm. It is the cry of someone who doesn't just know about God, but belongs to him. It is ownership born out of relationship, not religion. When David wrote these words, he wasn't sitting on a throne in comfort. He was often running for his life, hiding in caves, surrounded by enemies, uncertain about tomorrow. Yet in the middle of chaos, he declared something unshakable. I have a shepherd, not a distant deity, not a vague hope. A shepherd who knows my name, who leads me, who watches over me, who fights for me. That's the secret most people miss. Psalm 23 isn't a list of blessings to claim. It's a confession of belonging. Everything else, peace, provision, rest, courage, flows from that relationship. Without it, the promises are words on a page. With it, they become life itself. To call the Lord my shepherd means surrender. It means I stop leading myself. It means I trust his path, even when I don't understand it. It means I yield my plans, my fears, my desires, my timing, and let him guide my steps. It's not always easy. Sheep don't always see where the shepherd is leading. Sometimes the path feels narrow, the climb steep, the valley dark. But the shepherd knows the way, and when you belong to him, you're never wandering, you're being led. This intimacy changes everything. It silences the voice of fear, because you know you're not alone. It breaks the chains of striving, because your worth isn't in your success, it's in your shepherd's care. It fills your heart with peace, because your life is not random, it's guided by love. So ask yourself, do you know him as your shepherd? Not just a name in scripture, but the one who walks beside you, speaks to your heart, and holds your hand when the night is long. This is the secret that transforms Psalm 23. From a verse you quote to a truth you live. When you belong to the shepherd, you lack nothing that truly matters. You are seen, known, protected, and loved with a love that never lets go. The Lord is my shepherd. Let those words settle into your soul. Everything you need begins there. Number 2. I shall not want, the secret of contentment and trust. The moment you declare, the Lord is my shepherd, something powerful follows. I shall not want. It's not a denial of need. It's a declaration of trust. It's the voice of a heart that has found its satisfaction in God alone. Most people read this as a promise that God will give us everything we desire. But the secret is deeper. David wasn't saying, I'll get everything I want. He was saying, with my shepherd, I have everything I need. When you walk with the shepherd, your heart shifts from craving to contentment. You begin to realize that true abundance isn't measured by what you hold. It's measured by who holds you. The world teaches us to chase more money, more recognition, more comfort, but the shepherd leads differently. He teaches us that fullness is not found in possessions, but in presence. His presence. You could be in a season of lack and still live in abundance if you know the one who provides manna in the wilderness and water from the rock. Contentment isn't complacency, it's confidence. It's the deep assurance that no matter what you face, the shepherd knows what you need and will never fail to provide. Sometimes he provides through miracles, sometimes through waiting, sometimes through pruning your desires until they align with his will. Paul echoed this truth centuries later. I have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me. This is the secret of I shall not want. It's not a promise of plenty, it's a promise of peace. When your heart is anchored in the shepherd, you stop comparing your life to others. You stop striving to fill the emptiness with temporary things. You begin to rest in the quiet assurance that your Father knows what you need before you even ask. And in that rest, something miraculous happens. You become free from envy, from anxiety, from the endless chase for more. You learn to live with open hands, trusting that the same shepherd who led you here will sustain you here. So when you say, I shall not want, you're declaring faith in the face of uncertainty. You're saying, even if I don't understand, I trust you. Even if I lack, I know you'll provide. Even if I walk through scarcity, I will not fear, because you are with me. That's the secret most miss. I shall not want isn't about having everything. It's about needing only one thing, the shepherd himself. And when he is enough, everything else falls into place. Number 3. He makes me lie down in green pastures. The secret of rest in a restless world. There's a word in this verse that carries quiet power. Makes. He makes me lie down. It's not a gentle suggestion, it's an act of love. Because sometimes we don't know how to stop. We rush, we strive, we push through exhaustion, thinking that more effort will fix what's broken inside us. But the shepherd knows what our souls often forget. Rest is not weakness. Rest is restoration. David, once a shepherd himself, understood sheep. Sheep don't lie down unless they feel safe. No fear, no hunger, no tension. Only then can they rest. So when David said, He makes me lie down in green pastures, he was describing a place of deep safety, where fear is gone, where striving ceases, where the heart finally breathes again. Our world glorifies motion, always doing, always achieving. But the shepherd's path leads through stillness. He knows the danger of a restless soul. He knows how weariness warps our vision and clouds our faith. That's why he, gently, sometimes firmly, leads us into rest, not to punish us, but to heal us. Have you ever wondered why he leads you into seasons of pause? Why doors close? Why progress slows? Why you're forced to wait? Maybe it's not failure, it's the shepherd's invitation to lie down in green pastures, to sit at his feet and remember that your worth is not in what you do, but in who you belong to. Green pastures are more than scenery, they're symbols of provision. They remind you that the shepherd has already prepared what you need. You don't have to chase it. You don't have to fight for it. You simply have to rest in it. When you lie down in his presence, your soul is renewed, your thoughts clear, your heart steadies. Anxiety loosens its grip, because you realize he's been holding your life all along. Rest is where your faith grows strongest, because when you stop moving, you start seeing. You notice his hand in the details, his voice in the silence, his love in the waiting. So if he's calling you to rest, don't resist. Don't fill the quiet with noise. Let him settle your heart, feed your soul, and remind you that his grace is enough. You were never meant to live burnt out, anxious, or afraid. You were meant to rest beside your shepherd in green pastures, safe, provided for, loved beyond measure. This is the secret. Peace doesn't come when life slows down. It comes when your soul finally does. Number 4. He leads me beside still waters, the secret of peace in turmoil. There's a rhythm to the shepherds, leading green pastures for rest, still waters for peace. He doesn't drive you with force. He leads you with love. And where he leads, calm follows. He leads me beside still waters. In the original Hebrew, these are waters of rest. They aren't raging currents. They aren't stormy seas. They are gentle, clear, and quiet, just like the peace Jesus promised when he said, "My peace I give to you, not as the world gives." The shepherd knows your soul can't drink from chaos. Turbulent waters of worry, noise, and striving leave you thirsty and drained. That's why he brings you to stillness, not to escape the world, but to anchor your heart in his presence, even when storms rage around you. Still waters represent more than serenity. They symbolize trust. You don't need to see the entire path when you're following the one who knows it. You don't have to control every outcome when you walk beside the Prince of Peace. The secret most miss is this: peace isn't found in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of the shepherd. David didn't write these words from a peaceful life. He wrote them from a life full of battles. Yet he found a calm that war couldn't steal. Because peace is not a place, it's a person. Maybe your life right now feels anything but still. Maybe everything around you is loud, uncertain, and heavy. But even here, the shepherd is leading. He's whispering, "Come closer. Drink from me. Rest your soul." To follow him beside still waters means learning to listen for his voice above the noise. It means trusting his timing, even when you want to rush. It means finding quiet in prayer, peace in worship, and clarity in his word. Still waters cleanse. They refresh. They restore. And as you linger beside them, the weight you carry begins to lift. The storm inside starts to settle. You realize you don't have to fix everything, you just have to follow the one who can. This is the peace that passes understanding, the calm that doesn't make sense, yet holds you steady when the world shakes. It's not fragile. It's not fleeting. It's yours when the shepherd leads, and you let him. So take his hand, walk with him, let him guide you beside still waters, because where he leads, your soul will always find peace. Number 5. He restores my soul, the secret of healing and renewal. There are moments in life when your soul feels shattered, when grief runs deep, when disappointment drains your hope, when shame whispers that you're too far gone. And yet, right in that place, the shepherd bends down. He doesn't scold. He doesn't turn away. He restores. He restores my soul. These words hold a promise that is both tender and powerful. To restore doesn't just mean to patch up, it means to bring back to original beauty, to breathe life into what has been broken, to return you to wholeness. The shepherd doesn't just comfort, he rebuilds. David knew what it meant to have a weary soul. He had faced betrayal, sin, loss, and failure. But he also knew the heart of a shepherd who never gave up on him. When David wandered, the shepherd pursued. When David fell, the shepherd lifted. When David wept, the shepherd wiped his tears and whispered, "You're still mine." That's what God does. He restores what life has drained. He heals wounds that no one sees. He breathes peace into restless hearts and brings light into dark places. This restoration isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. It's a renewal of your faith, your identity, your purpose. It's the shepherd reminding you that you are not defined by your past, your failures, or your scars. You are defined by his love. Maybe your soul feels weary from waiting, or heavy with guilt, or numb from pain. The secret is this: you don't have to fix yourself. You simply have to let the shepherd touch the places you've hidden. He restores through his word, washing away lies with truth. He restores through his spirit, filling what's empty with peace. He restores through his presence, reminding you that you're never alone. And the restoration isn't partial, it's complete. God doesn't just mend you so you can survive. He restores you so you can thrive. He makes beauty from ashes, joy from mourning, strength from weakness. When your soul is restored, your perspective shifts. You start walking lighter, loving deeper, and trusting bolder. You begin to see that every valley had purpose, every tear had meaning, and every scar has become a testimony of grace. Let the shepherd do what only he can. Lay your burdens down. Let him breathe over your soul again. Because his restoration isn't just a moment, it's a new beginning. Number 6. Even though I walk through the valley. The secret of courage in darkness. We love the green pastures and still waters, but valleys those we'd rather avoid. Yet, Psalm 23 doesn't skip them. It says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." The secret here is not the absence of the valley, but the presence of the shepherd. David doesn't say if I walk through, he says when, because every believer will face valleys times, when the path grows dark, when prayers seem unanswered, when the future feels uncertain. But in that darkness, the shepherd walks beside you. Notice the word through. You're not meant to stay there. The valley is not your destination, it's a passage, and the shepherd leads you through it. What you fear will bury you becomes the very place where your faith is forged. The shadow may be real, but shadows can't harm you when the light is near, and the light walks with you. You may not always see him, but his presence is constant. His rod and staff guide and protect you. His voice whispers courage when fear tries to take hold. This is where trust becomes real, not when life is easy, but when the path is uncertain. In the valley, you learn the shepherd's heart. You feel his hand steadying yours, his strength carrying you when your legs give out. Valleys teach dependence. They strip away illusions of control and remind you that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's faith that walks on, one step at a time. And here's the miracle. Some of the most intimate encounters with God happen in the valley, because when everything else fades, his presence becomes your anchor. The same God who led you into the valley will lead you out, stronger, wiser, and closer to his heart. You may not choose the valley, but the shepherd never wastes it. He uses it to deepen your faith, refine your heart, and reveal his power. You will walk through. You will not be overcome. So when shadows fall and fear whispers that you're alone, lift your eyes. The shepherd is beside you. His light is enough. His presence is your courage. Even in the darkest valley, you are never abandoned. You are led, you are loved, and you will make it through. Number 7. You prepare a table before me. The secret of victory in the midst of battle. Most of us imagine peace only when the battle is over. We long for victory after the storm has passed, when the enemies are gone and the wounds have healed. But Psalm 23 reveals a deeper truth, a secret most overlook. God doesn't wait until your enemies are gone to bless you. He sets the table in their presence. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This isn't just poetry. It's a declaration of divine authority. The shepherd doesn't remove the struggle. He transforms it. He takes the very place meant to break you and turns it into a feast of grace, strength, and honor. The table is not a place of fear. It's a place of fellowship. It's where the shepherd sits you down, even as the battle rages around you, and reminds you that you are his guest, his child, his beloved. Your enemies' fear, shame, doubt, loss can watch, but they can't touch what he has prepared for you. This table symbolizes communion with God in the middle of chaos. It's not a promise that life will be free of pain, but that his presence will sustain you in it. He anoints your head with oil, marking you as chosen, favored, protected. Your cup overflows, not because the fight has ended, but because his grace is greater than the battle. Do you see the power here? You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect to experience victory. The shepherd invites you to feast on his goodness, now to worship in the face of fear, to rest while the war still roars, to rejoice even when the outcome is uncertain. The enemy's strategy is to make you focus on the fight. God's invitation is to fix your eyes on the feast. You are not a victim. At this table, you are a guest of honor. The shepherd himself serves you strength for your weakness, peace for your panic, joy for your sorrow. This is the secret. Victory isn't a future event. It's a present reality when you walk with the shepherd. The battle may not be over, but your heart can rest because the table is set. You are surrounded by enemies, but seated in grace. You are not fighting for victory, you are feasting from it. So sit down, breathe, let him fill your cup again, because even in the presence of your enemies, your shepherd reigns. Conclusion. Surely goodness and mercy, the secret of living in eternal confidence. As the psalm closes, the shepherd's promise becomes a melody that lingers long after the words are spoken. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This isn't wishful thinking, it's certainty. David doesn't say maybe or hopefully. He says, surely. Because when you walk with the shepherd, your story is surrounded by his goodness and mercy. They aren't occasional guests. They're constant companions pursuing you, guarding you, lifting you when you fall, guiding you back when you wander. Goodness, his blessings, his faithfulness, his divine favor meets you in every season. Mercy, his forgiveness, his patience, his unfailing love covers every mistake, every scar, every step off the path. They follow you, not because you're perfect, but because he is. They chase you down because his covenant cannot fail. And when this journey ends, there's a home waiting, not a house built by hands, but the eternal presence of the shepherd himself. Psalm 23 begins with belonging, "The Lord is my shepherd," and ends with forever. I will dwell in the house of the Lord. That's the story of your life, in his hands, guided, provided for, restored, protected, and ultimately, home. This is the secret that changes everything. You are never alone. You are never forsaken. You are never without hope. Your life is not a random path. It's a journey led by a loving shepherd who knows every step, every valley, every table, every tear. And his goodness and mercy are not just with you, they are chasing you into eternity. So walk boldly, rest deeply, trust fully, because the one who began this journey with you will lead you safely home. And when you finally dwell in his house forever, you'll realize every step, every season, every valley was leading you closer to his heart. The shepherd was always enough.